It wasn't the SUV parked half on my lawn that pushed me over the edge. It was Cheryl, in her American flag apron, holding barbecue tongs and a box wine glass, telling her friends that my driveway was now community overflow parking. She laughed like it was the funniest thing in the world. Then her son, Trevor, mid-30s, backwards cap, lifted truck the size of a boat, pulled up behind her car and boxed in mine. Completely. Like my driveway was a designated loading dock. I stood there in a button-down, holding a binder of documents for a city planning meeting I was already late for, and watched as he slapped a VIP sticker on the hood of my sedan. No shame, just vibes. This wasn't new. Cheryl had made herself queen of the HOA long before I moved into the neighborhood. And Trevor, well, he didn't live there officially, but he was always around playing mechanic, tossing beer cans into hedges, parking across sidewalks like he owned the block. I'd seen him dump motor oil into the storm drain once, and when I called him out, he offered me a half-eaten breakfast burrito and said, "Relax, it's organic." Cheryl just giggled like he was some misunderstood genius. At first, I tried playing nice. A note on the windshield, a polite knock on her door, even an awkward conversation at one of her HOA potlucks where I gently asked if maybe she could stop using my property as an annex to her lawn. She patted my shoulder and said, "We're a community, Grant. You should learn to share." When I pointed out I couldn't leave for work, she smirked and said, "Sounds like poor planning on your part." It escalated in slow motion. More parties. More cars. More people treating my driveway like a public park. The HOA board, stacked with Cheryl's friends, ignored every complaint I sent. So I documented everything: photos, timestamps, bylaws, even local ordinances. But I never acted on it. Not yet. Then, one day, I found a fluorescent pink flyer taped to my mailbox. It was an announcement for Cheryl's annual patriotic cookout, with a note underneath that read, "Please move your car Saturday from 1:28 p.m. so guests can park. Thanks in advance." Red heart C. No ask. No discussion. Just assumption. I didn't move my car. Saturday morning came, blazing hot and humid, and from my kitchen window, I watched Trevor haul coolers and speakers across my lawn. Guests started arriving early, parking half on sidewalks, half in driveways, mine included. By noon, Trevor's truck was fully wedged behind my car again, and Cheryl was directing traffic like she was running a parade. Then my phone buzzed, a reminder for my rescheduled meeting with the city planner. I had one shot to pitch a proposal I'd spent 6 months building, and this party was about to blow it up. So I walked outside, calm but direct, and told Cheryl I needed the vehicles moved. She took a sip of her wine, didn't even look me in the eye, and said, "It's just one afternoon. Can't you reschedule again?" I said no, I'd already done that twice. She frowned and replied, "You always think the rules don't apply to you." Trevor, chomping on a burger, just shrugged and said, "Sorry, bro," before tossing a frisbee across the yard. So I turned around, went inside, and made a call. 2 calls, actually. First to my lawyer buddy, who reviewed my HOA docs and city codes and gave me the green light. Then to the towing company. They said they'd be there within the hour. I made sure to time it just right. As Cheryl stood in front of her guests making a speech about community pride and American values, 2 flatbed tow trucks rolled up, lights blinking, engines rumbling like justice. The drivers got out, looked around, and confirmed the situation. I handed them a printed copy of the HOA bylaws, highlighted and underlined. Cheryl noticed the commotion and stormed over, arms flailing, yelling, "You can't do this. This is private property." One of the drivers calmly replied, "Exactly. And you're illegally blocking this man's driveway. We have authorization." She spun toward me, red-faced, shouting, "Grant, are you insane? You're ruining the cookout." I just sipped my tea and said, "Actually, I'm finally attending. This is my contribution. Trevor came stumbling over, reeking of beer and barbecue sauce, trying to pull his truck keys from the dashboard. One of the tow guys blocked him off and said, "Sir, step back. You're interfering with an active tow." And just like that, everyone pulled out their phones. Neighbors, guests, even a kid with a popsicle. Cheryl was screaming about the HOA. Trevor tripped over a folding chair and fell into a cooler of orange soda. The music kept blaring, but the vibe had definitely shifted. By the time both vehicles were loaded up and pulled away, the only thing left in my driveway was the imprint of Trevor's tires and a lingering sense of satisfaction. Cheryl stormed off, slamming her back door behind her. But later that evening, she came back swinging figuratively. I found a letter taped to my mailbox, claiming I was in violation of HOA guidelines for hostile conduct. I laughed out loud. I'd followed every rule. I even gave them the chance to move voluntarily. But Cheryl didn't deal in logic, she dealt in control. What she hadn't counted on was that word would spread fast. The videos hit the local Facebook group by morning. Neighbors who'd stayed silent started sharing their own horror stories. One woman said Cheryl tried to fine her for having wind chimes. Another said her husband got cited for planting flowers that were too bright. Then, someone posted the HOA bylaws, the exact section I'd used. The receipts were out. A few residents called for a vote to remove Cheryl from the board. It passed in days. 1 week later, a moving truck appeared in front of Cheryl's house. Trevor loaded boxes, grumbling the whole time. Cheryl backed orders, phone glued to her ear. No one helped. No one waved goodbye. It was the quietest exit I'd ever seen. Now the block's different. Peaceful. The new HOA board is actually responsive. The new president even stopped by to thank me for standing up when nobody else would. And sure, maybe some folks still think towing was overkill. But I don't regret it. Because sometimes, you've gotta make a little noise to get some peace. What do you think? Was I justified, or did I take it too far? Drop your thoughts below. Let's talk about where the line really is between community and control. It wasn't the SUV parked half on my lawn that pushed me over the edge. It was Cheryl, in her American flag apron, holding barbecue tongs and a box wine glass, telling her friends that my driveway was now community overflow parking. She laughed like it was the funniest thing in the world. Then her son, Trevor, mid-30s, backwards cap, lifted truck the size of a boat pulled up behind her car and boxed in mine. Completely. Like my driveway was a designated loading dock. I stood there in a button-down, holding a binder of documents for a city planning meeting I